I was standing in the empty nursery when I realized my husband had stopped wearing his wedding ring. The crib was gone. The changing table. The mobile with the little fabric elephants I'd sewn by hand. Just carpet indentations where furniture used to be, and the smell of baby powder lingering like a ghost. My name is Marcus Webb. I'm 37 years old, and I restore vintage motorcycles for a living. Not as a hobby, as a business. Webb Custom Cycles, operating out of a 4,000 square foot shop in South Memphis since my uncle died and left it to me 9 years ago. I buy broken bikes, rebuild them piece by piece, sell them to collectors for $40,000 to $80,000 each. I complete maybe 8 a year. Do the math. I drive a 2010 Silverado with primer spots and 160,000 miles. I wear Dickies work pants with oil stains that won't wash out. I drink coffee from a thermos, not cafes. My boots are Red Wings, resold 3 times. When people ask what I do, I say mechanic. Let them assume. I met Vanessa 4 years ago at a community center where I was teaching a free motorcycle maintenance class. She was a social worker, 28, beautiful in that effortless way, natural hair, minimal makeup, laugh that made you want to earn it. She made $43,000 a year and drove a Honda Civic with a Choose Kindness bumper sticker. We got married at her mother's church. Small ceremony, $8,000 total, half of which her parents covered. We moved into a 3-bedroom ranch I'd bought for $180,000 cash 2 years before we met. She thought we had a mortgage. I never corrected her. Vanessa didn't ask about money. She saw the shop, the truck, the work clothes, and made assumptions. When her friends asked what I did, she'd say he works with motorcycles and change the subject, like it was something to apologize for. I didn't mind. My uncle had taught me that real wealth whispers. When our daughter Zoe was born 18 months ago, everything shifted. Vanessa went on maternity leave, then extended it. Money got tighter, or seemed to. She started dropping hints. Maybe you could get a job at the Harley dealership. Steady paycheck, benefits. My cousin's husband manages a FedEx hub. They're always hiring. I kept rebuilding bikes. Kept the shop running. Kept my mouth shut about the $840,000 in business accounts. The $1.2 million in investment properties I'd acquired slowly, carefully, 3 small commercial buildings that brought in $9,000 monthly in rent. I was waiting. Testing. 6 months ago, Vanessa went back to work part-time. Started dressing differently. New clothes I didn't recognize, though she said they were thrift store finds. She joined a gym. Started going out for work drinks on Thursdays. I wasn't suspicious yet, just observant. Then came the overnight shifts. Her agency started a crisis hotline, needed coverage. She'd leave at 10 p.m., come home at 7 a.m., smelling like coffee and claiming exhaustion. I believed her until I didn't. Last Tuesday, I was in the shop finishing in 1972 Norton Commando when I decided to surprise her. Bring breakfast to the agency office. She'd mentioned being slammed. I stopped at the diner she loved, got her usual, scrambled eggs, turkey sausage, wheat toast. $12.47 with tip. The agency office was dark, completely empty. I checked the address twice. I called. It rang through to voicemail. I sat in my truck in that empty parking lot, breakfast going cold, and felt something crack open inside my chest. I drove to our house. Her car wasn't there. I went inside, kissed sleeping Zoe in her crib, and opened Vanessa's laptop. Password was our anniversary, never changed. Email open. Recent messages from someone named Darius. Subject lines like, "Last night was perfect," and "When can I see you again?" I read them all. Every one. Darius worked in pharmaceutical sales. Made $90,000. Drove a leased BMW. Took her to hotels, the Peabody, the guest house at Graceland. Expensive places. He'd sent her photos. Them at dinner, champagne glasses raised. Her wearing a dress I'd never seen. One message stopped my heart. Can't believe you're stuck with a mechanic who can barely keep the lights on. You deserve so much better. Once you're ready to leave, I'm here. Her response, soon. I just need to figure out custody and get my finances straight. He's sweet, but going nowhere. Zoe deserves stability. Sweet. Going nowhere. I closed the laptop. Walked to my office. The room Vanessa never entered because it smelled like old grease and receipts, and opened my safe. Inside, property deeds, business documents, stock portfolios, the trust my uncle had established that paid out quarterly. Total net worth, $3.4 million. not counting the shop or the house. I called my lawyer, Sharon Price. $400 an hour, worth double. It's time, I said. You're certain? I've got emails, photos, hotel receipts charged to a credit card I didn't know she had. Custody. I want full. I'll settle for joint if I have to, but I want primary. I hung up, looked at the photos on my desk. Zoe's first smile, her tiny hand wrapped around my thumb. Vanessa holding her in the hospital, looking at our daughter like she was the whole world. That woman was gone. Or maybe she'd never existed. I had 72 hours before Sharon filed. 72 hours to prepare for the moment my wife realized she'd bet on the wrong man. Thursday night. Vanessa came home at 7:15 a.m., hair damp, makeup fresh, humming something under her breath. I was feeding Zoe in her high chair, mashed banana, her favorite. My daughter's laugh filled the kitchen, pure and uncomplicated. Morning, Vanessa said. She kissed Zoe's head, not mine. Rough night at the hotline. 3 crisis calls back to back. Sounds exhausting, I said. Spoon more banana. Zoe grabbed for the bowl. It is. She poured coffee. I'm going to shower and sleep a few hours. Can you handle her? I always do. Something flickered across her face. She went upstairs. I heard the water run. Kept feeding Zoe, wiping banana off her chin, memorizing this moment. My daughter's sticky fingers. The morning light through curtains, I'd hum myself. The last normal day before everything changed. Sharon had filed the papers Wednesday. Vanessa would be served today at work. Actual work, the agency office, 2 p.m. My phone buzzed. Sharon, server confirmed. She's reading them now. I picked Zoe up, cleaned her hands, held her against my chest. She smelled like baby soap and banana. It's going to be okay, baby girl, I whispered. Daddy's got you. Vanessa's phone started ringing upstairs. Again. She came down 20 minutes later, wet hair, no makeup, divorce papers in her shaking hands. What the hell is this? I was on the floor with Zoe, stacking blocks. Legal documents. Sharon can explain anything unclear. You're divorcing me? Yes. Because of what? We've been happy, have we? I stood up slow. Tell me about the crisis hotline, Vanessa. The one that doesn't exist. Her face went white. Tell me about Darius. The hotels. The dress I've never seen. Tell me how I'm going nowhere and our daughter deserves better than a mechanic who can barely keep the lights on. Marcus, I can explain. Don't. I picked Zoe up. She grabbed my collar, oblivious. I read everything. The emails. The plans. You were waiting until your finances were straight to leave. So I'm helping you. Consider them straight. This is insane. We can go to counseling. Read page 7. The asset disclosure. She flipped pages with trembling hands. Stopped. Read. Read again. This can't be right. It's accurate. Sharon verified everything. The business. The properties. The investments. Total net worth. $3.4 million. You have $3 million? 3.4. Market's been good. She sat down hard. You've been lying to me. I've been testing you. There's a difference. That's sick. What's sick is planning your exit while I'm raising our daughter. What's sick is spending nights with another man while telling me you're helping people in crisis. I kept my voice level. Zoe was watching, big eyes curious. What's sick is thinking I'm too stupid to notice. Vanessa's shock turned to anger. So what? You divorce me and I get nothing. You get what Tennessee law allows. We've been married for years. You're entitled to a percentage of marital assets, stuff acquired during marriage. That's about $180,000 in joint savings and investments. The business, the properties, the house. All mine before we met. Sharon has documentation. What about Zoe? I want full custody. You can't. I'm her mother. You're her mother who's been spending nights in hotels while claiming work emergencies. Who's been having an affair while I've been handling every 3 a.m. feeding, every diaper change, every doctor's appointment. I pulled out my phone, opened the calendar. I've logged everything. 6 months of data. You've been primary caregiver exactly 11 days. I've been primary 162. You've been documenting me? I've been being a father. Documentation was a side effect. She stared at the papers. At me. At Zoe, who'd started chewing on my collar. I made a mistake, Vanessa said quietly. Darius was. It was stupid. It didn't mean anything. It make you thought I wasn't enough. That our life wasn't enough. You drive a truck held together with rust. You work in a garage. I wanted more for us. You wanted different. You could have asked for more. Asked about the business, the finances, what our actual situation was. You never did. You saw the surface and decided I was small. I love you. You loved the version of me you thought would always be here. Reliable, simple Marcus, too boring to leave, too grateful to question. I walked toward the nursery. That Marcus is done. Please. She followed. Don't take my baby. Our baby. And I'm not taking her. I'm protecting her. There's a difference. I started packing Zoe's diaper back. Vanessa stood in the doorway, crying now, real tears finally. What do you want from me? She whispered. Nothing. That's what you don't understand. I don't need anything from you. I never did. My phone rang. Sharon. Judge approved the temporary custody order. You and Zoe can stay in the house. Vanessa needs to find alternative housing until the hearing. I looked at my wife. You have 48 hours to move out. Sharon's filing for primary custody. The hearing's in 3 weeks. Marcus, please, I'll be fair with visitation. Generous, even. But I'm done being your safety net while you look for something better. I picked up Zoe, grabbed her bag, and walked past Vanessa. She didn't try to stop me. I spent that afternoon at the shop, Zoe in a playpen I'd set up in the office, surrounded by tools and parts, and the smell of oil. She laughed at the sound of the air compressor, clapped her hands. My phone filled with messages. Vanessa. Darius, somehow. Vanessa's mother. I ignored them all. Just worked. Rebuilt. Found problems. Solved them. Made something broken run again. The custody hearing was November 14th, 9 a.m., family court downtown. I wore the one suit I owned, charcoal gray, bought for weddings and funerals. Zoe was with my sister, who'd flown in from Atlanta to help. Vanessa arrived with a lawyer, someone named Gerald Marcus. No relation, slick suit, expensive briefcase. She'd lost weight. Looked tired. We didn't speak. Judge Helena Morrison presided. A black woman in her 50s with reading glasses on a chain and zero patience for nonsense. She reviewed the evidence. Sharon had prepared everything, my custody logs, Vanessa's work schedule showing the fake overnight shifts, hotel receipts we'd subpoenaed from Darius's credit card, emails discussing her exit strategy. Gerald tried. Argued that I'd been deceptive about finances, that Vanessa deserved consideration as primary caregiver during Zoe's first 6 months. Sharon countered with pediatrician records showing I'd attended 18 of 20 well baby visits. Daycare logs showing I did 90% of drop-offs and pickups. Character witnesses, my sister, my shop manager, even Vanessa's own mother, who testified quietly that I'd been the steady one. Judge Morrison took 30 minutes to deliberate. Primary physical custody to Mr. Webb, she said. Ms. Webb receives visitation every other weekend and 1 evening per week, supervised for the first 3 months, pending completion of family counseling. Vanessa's face crumpled. Gerald whispered something. She nodded. Asset division will proceed separately, the judge continued. But let me be clear. This court recognizes that Mr. Webb's premarital assets remain his separate property. Ms. Webb is entitled to her portion of marital assets and appropriate support. Nothing more. The gavel came down. Outside, November wind cut through the downtown streets. I stood on the courthouse steps, breathing. Vanessa found me there. Can we talk? She asked. If it's about Zoe's schedule, Sharon can coordinate. It's about us. There is no us. Marcus, please. I know I destroyed everything. I know I don't deserve another chance. But I'm asking anyway. She stepped closer. I was stupid. Selfish. I looked at your truck and your work clothes and thought that was all you were. I didn't see. Her voice broke. I didn't see you. You saw what you wanted to see. Someone small enough to leave without guilt. I'm seeing now. The business. The properties. Everything you built. You're seeing money. That's not the same as seeing me. Then help me understand. Please. I looked at her. Really looked. Tried to find the woman I'd married. The one who'd laughed at my terrible jokes and cried happy tears when Zoe was born. I don't want you to understand, I said. I want you to be someone who wouldn't need it explained. Someone who valued effort over appearance. Who asked questions instead of making assumptions. I can change, maybe, but not for me. Not anymore. I walked to my truck. She didn't follow. 3 months later, the divorce finalized. Vanessa got $180,000 from marital assets, plus $2,000 monthly child support, Tennessee formula, based on income ratio. She kept her Civic. I kept everything else. She moved to an apartment in Cooper Young. Got serious about therapy. Started showing up for her visitation days on time. Sober, present. We were civil at exchanges. Sometimes almost friendly. Zoe thrived. Started walking at 13 months. First word was dada, which made Vanessa cry, but she smiled through it. I sold the ranch house, too many memories, and bought a smaller place in Midtown with a fenced yard and a separate garage I converted into a workshop. Spent evenings with Zoe, teaching her to hand me tools, letting her bang on scrap metal with a rubber mallet. She loved the noise. Work continued. Webb Custom Cycles completed 9 bikes that year, best year yet. I hired 2 employees, expanded the shop, stopped hiding what I'd built. A woman named Keisha started bringing her vintage Triumph in for maintenance. She was a photographer, 40, owned her own studio. We talked about craft, about building things that lasted. She noticed the photo of Zoe on my desk, asked about her. Listened to the answer. We got coffee, then dinner. Took it slow. On Zoe's 2nd birthday, I threw a party at the new house. Both families came. Vanessa brought her new boyfriend, a teacher, quiet guy who was good with kids. No tension, no drama. Just cake and presents and Zoe's delighted shriek when she opened the toy motorcycle I'd built from wood. That night, after everyone left, I sat on the back porch with a beer. Zoe was asleep inside, stars were out, and the workshop light glowed warm through the window. My phone buzzed. Tisha, great party. You're a good father. That's attractive. I smiled. Texted back, thanks. Want to grab breakfast tomorrow? I'm buying. Only if you let me see the famous shop afterward. Deal. I finished the beer. Checked on Zoe one more time. She slept like I did, sprawled out, fearless. Kissed her forehead. Went to the workshop. I had a 1969 Bonneville waiting, engine partially disassembled, work that would take months but result in something beautiful. I pulled on my work gloves, selected tools, started the careful process of restoration, finding what was broken, understanding why, fixing it right. Outside, Memphis hummed its night sounds. Inside, I had everything that mattered. My daughter sleeping safe, work that meant something, and the quiet knowledge that I'd build a life that didn't crumble when tested. Some men need validation, need witnesses, need someone to see them win. I just needed to know I protected what I loved, that I'd chosen truth over comfort, that when my daughter grew up, she'd remember a father who showed up, stayed present, and taught her that real strength looks like steady hands doing honest work. I had. That was enough. The Bonneville's engine gleamed under the work light, waiting for skilled hands to make it whole again. I got to work.